indie game marketing. How on earth do you make your game successful? Well, there's no guarantees whatsoever, but there are quite a few things you can do to give yourself the best chance possible. And I'm going to show you 3 things that I've discovered as someone who has just about but barely published a game and creates content around games. And number 3, which is technically number 1 because it's the first thing you should do, is make marketing part of the development process. What do I mean by that? Well, you have your great idea about your game, you have all these creative ideas and plans that you have for your game. Make sure you make marketing your game part of that process. So every time you're creating something and doing something in the game while you're developing it, you've got the marketing of this in the back of your mind. So how can you use this asset that you're working on right now? Could you make a little bit of content, an image, a picture, a little GIF of it? Could you do something about this image that could be used in marketing? And just keep that in the back of your mind and make a little note of it. Head back to this asset, make a GIF like that. So you need to be doing that from day one. Think about the platforms that you want to advertise your game on. I don't mean paid advertisement. I just mean advertising on Twitter, showing it off on Instagram. There's lots of places to share your game that you need to be thinking ahead while you're creating the game. And if you're wondering whereabouts should I be marketing my game, then don't go crazy. Social media is amazing for this, and there are a few platforms that are good and some that are not quite as good for advertising indie games. Now, Twitter has probably the most interactive and active community that there is out there, I would say. So there's lots of screenshot Saturdays you can join in on, start showing your game off, just so it starts getting in people's minds that they recognize what your game is and your name. Instagram is very good for getting discovered, but there's very little interaction on Instagram. Like, you can't share posts, which is really what you want to be aiming for. You want people to be sharing your tweets and interacting, having conversations with you. Instagram is a bit more one way, where you just show a cool picture and they go, yeah, like that. There's not much else they can do with that. Instagram is great, but for me, I would recommend Twitter is the best place to start. That you can start getting involved in communities and you can start sharing the marketing of your game really early on, from day one. And I mean from day one. Here's the day one video of my dev journey. This is the idea I've had. This is the initial sketches. People love that type of stuff. So don't be worried about people stealing your idea. I hear this a lot. I don't want to share my idea because what if someone steals it? Like, you're the only person to make a platformer in the world. Don't worry about it. Exposure is more important. Tip number 2 is related to number 1 with the marketing. Now, this is about creating content. So you need to be making regular posts about your game. So you need to have a schedule to create GIFs. So even if it's you working on the game, you need to have a schedule every week, every couple of days, or whatever you can work into your plan about creating GIFs, and make the GIFs something recognizable. So something that people will go, oh, what's that? Even if it's something stupid, like a really crazy bug that you've had. Hey, look at this, I'm developing this game, and this dragon that I've made suddenly has got pigeon legs. There's a funny bug, ha ha ha, whatever it is. That is a great post. Don't worry about, people are going to see bugs in my game. You're in development. That's expected. That's totally fine. And especially the indie community are fully aware and have seen many bugs in their time. So don't panic about bugs. It's not released yet, so bugs are okay. Make it part of the development. Make that part of the fun. Share. There's plenty of places you can create GIFs from in your videos. I'll leave a couple of links below if you're not sure where to start. Just have fun. Interact with the community. Make sure you're part of the development process with everybody. That's important to do. If you're in the community of creating games and you want people to join in with you, then you kind of have to show the same interaction with them as well, and you'll get a lot of support. And the development community are really supportive. They're happy to share your tweets, they're happy to share your GIFs, especially if they're funny ones. So keep an eye out of ways you can use your content you've already got from your game development and make it into a bit of fun, a bit of interaction. Now that brings us to point number 1. Now this is the most important point to take note of in this whole little list. Sounds harsh, but Remember, everything that you do, you need to remember this. Nobody cares about your game, or probably you. Whoever you're sharing, that they know nothing about you, they don't care about you, they don't care about your game, and it's your job to make sure they do care. While you're making your game and you're developing your plan, just remember that. Nobody knows about you. Nobody knows what you're creating. They're not going to just discover it by accident. Very unlikely, you know. Of course, you're going to get a couple of clicks that are accidental, but nobody knows. Why would they know? And why would they be searching for your game? It's your job to show the game to those people. So while you're creating your content, you need to be making sure that you are making connections with people in the community. Start having initial discussions with publishers if you want to go down the publisher route, or the marketing. Find a company to do the marketing for you. I would recommend that is something to look at if your budget can stretch to it. Again, make sure you know your budget. Where can you spend your money? It's not, I know it sounds harsh that nobody cares, but that's how you've got to think of it. Just think of it that it's your job to convince these people that your game is great, you're going to have good fun playing it, and that's what you need to keep in your mind. If there's something specific that you'd like some help and tips on, then please drop a comment below. You feel free to leave a comment about your game. If you want to leave a link to your game, I don't mind that. Everybody, you can check out all the games that are linked below, and good luck with your development. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.